Magandang buhay! Welcome to my YouTube channel. Ang tatalakayin ko ngayon ay tungkol sa ellipses with center at the origin, including the definitions, parts, and examples of an ellipse. Shall we start? Definition of an ellipse is formed by skew or slant cutting to the cone and not parallel to the base. So this is an illustration on how to cut the cone to form an ellipse. So diagonal yung cutting niya. By analytical definition, let f sub 1 and f sub 2 be two distinct points. The set of all point P whose distances from f sub 1 and from f sub 2 add up to a certain constant is called an ellipse. The points f sub 1 and f sub 2 are called the foci of the ellipse. Okay, take note that f sub 1 and f sub 2 are the two distinct points. At paano na-form ang ellipse? Ito, halimbawa may string dito, if you rotate this, it will form an ellipse kung ang string ay nakalagay sa f sub 1 and f sub 2. What are the parts of an ellipse? So we have the center, the vertex represented by A, the focus represented by C, the co-vertex represented by B, the major axis, and the minor axis. So we define each. There are two axes of symmetry. The first is the major axis. This is the longer axis and the measurement is 2a. It contains the foci, the vertices, and the center of an ellipse. The minor axis, the shorter axis, the sum is 2b or the measurement is 2b. It contains the co-vertices. So this one, the minor axis, and this one, the major axis. Take note that the intersection of two axes is called the center of an ellipse. Another part is the center. Is the midpoint between the two foci and the two vertices, including the endpoints of the co-vertices. Latus rectum. Latus rectum is the segment passing through a focus of the ellipse that is perpendicular to the major axis. So kung dito yung focus, ito yung tinatawag na latus rectum. Dito din sa kabila, may latus rectum. Vertices are the endpoints of the major axis. Ito. That's the vertices. Directrix, a line outside the ellipse that is parallel to the minor axis and has the same distance from the vertex. So dito yung directrix. Parallel siya sa minor axis. So the illustration of the difference between the horizontal and vertical ellipses. This is the ellipse wherein the major axis is horizontal. Ito yung dalawang vertices. Ito yung focus number 1, focus number 2, the center. Ito yung tinatawag na co-vertices, the endpoint of the minor axis. The major axis, the endpoints are the vertices. Okay? The length of the minor axis is 2b. The length of the major axis is 2a. The focus is represented by C, while the vertex is represented by A, and the co-vertices is represented by B. And this is also another illustration of an ellipse vertical, yung major axis niya. So this is the vertices. This also, the minor axis, co-vertices yung endpoints, the center, okay, the foci, focus number 1 and focus number 2. Paano ninyo malalaman na ang illustration ay horizontal or vertical? So we have here ellipse with center at the origin. The first one is when the major axis is the x-axis. So ito yung illustration niya. So this is the x-axis wherein that's the major axis. This is the standard form of the major axis is the x-axis. X squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1, where c is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. Take note that a is greater than b. Ang tatandaan nyo lang dito, ang a ay malaki. So tingnan yung variable sa taas, kung anong variable. Kung x yon, horizontal. Kung ang nasa taas kang a ay y, vertical, yung major axis. So in this case, ang nasa taas ng a ay x, therefore horizontal ang major axis. Vertices or endpoints of the major axis is represented by the coordinates positive, negative a, 0. The co-vertices or the endpoints of the minor axis is represented by 0, positive, negative b. The foci is represented by coordinates positive, negative c, 0. The endpoints of the latus rectum is represented by coordinates negative c plus minus b squared over a and c plus minus b squared over a. And the directrix is x equals positive, negative a squared over c. Kung ano ang major axis niyang variable, meaning yun din ang variable na gagamitin sa directrix. Another is, major axis is the y-axis. We have this, the graph, and the standard form is x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1, where c is also equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. Take note that a is greater than b. Laging a ang greater than b. Pero tingnan nyo yung variable sa numerator na ang ilalim ay a. It's already y. So meaning, pag y ang variable sa taas ng malaking value ng a, meaning, the major axis is the y-axis. Patayo yung graph niya. How about the vertices or endpoints of the major axis? So we have the coordinates 0, positive, negative a. The co-vertices or the endpoints of the minor axis, we have the coordinate positive, negative b, 0. And the foci, we have the coordinate 0, positive, negative c. The endpoints of the latus rectum, we have the coordinates positive, negative b squared over a, negative c, and positive, negative b squared over a, positive c. So we have also the directrix y equals positive, negative a squared over c. How about the general form of the equation of an ellipse wherein the center is at the origin? So we have ax squared plus cy squared plus f equals 0. take note that A is not equal to C, where A and C are greater than 0. So, hindi siya pwedeng magkaiba ang sign. Dapat parehong positive. Okay lang na ang A ay hindi equal sa C. Hindi pwede silang maging equal kasi pag equal sila, circle po yon. Let's proceed to the first example. Given the equation of an ellipse in general form, we have 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 36 equals 0. So the requirement, the standard form of the equation, you are going to identify the vertices, the foci, the co-vertices, and endpoints of the latus rectum, and sketch the graph. The parts na kailangan natin sa pag-graph ay the vertices, the foci, the co-vertices, and the endpoints of the latus rectum. Yan lang ang kailangan sa pag-graph ng ellipse. So we have the given 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 36 equals 0. The first step is to change this to standard form. How to change it? Okay, so you transpose the constant term to the other side, it became positive 36. And ano ang gagawin mo sa 36 para maging 1? Of course, you are going to divide it by 36. It means we divide all the terms by 36. Okay? Divide, that to by means divide all throughout by 36. So 9x squared divide 36 is x squared over 4. 4y squared divide 36 is y squared over 9. 36 divide 36 is 1. This is the standard form of the given ellipse. Take note that the center is at the origin. How to get the value of A, B, and C? The value of A is the square root of the bigger denominator. So 9 is bigger than 4. Therefore, 9 is represented by A squared. To get the value of A, get the square root of 9. So that is A equals 3. And 4 is the square of B. It means that to get 4b, get the square root of 4, which is 2. And how to get 4, the vertex? The vertex is represented by A. Since A is at the denominator of variable y, it means the vertex is along the y-axis. So it has a coordinate of 0, positive, negative A, which is equal to 0, positive, negative 3. Therefore, the co-vertices is represented by positive, negative B, 0. Itong B. So we have positive, negative 2, 0. And how to find C? To find C, we apply the formula C equals the square root of A squared minus B squared. By substitution, kahit hindi nyo na ilagay ang A na 3, ito na lang na 9. Because 3 squared is 9, and itong 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. So it became C equals the square root of 5, or approximately equal to 2.24. Therefore, the focus, we have the coordinate 0, positive, negative C is equal to 0, positive, negative, square root of 5. Another na kailangan natin ay the endpoints of the latus rectum. So we have positive, negative B squared over AC, positive, negative B squared over AC. Tandaan nyo lang kung ano yung given sa focus, kung saan nakalagay yung C, doon din nakalagay ang value sa endpoints of latus rectum. Nasa Y siya, Y din siya nakalagay. Now, how to graph? We have this value, B squared is 4 over A is 3. So we have positive negative 4 3 over 3, then square root of 5. The other one is positive negative 4 over 3, then negative square root of 5. How to graph? Make a Cartesian coordinate plane. Plot the coordinate of the vertex. That's 0, 3, 0, negative 3. And also the coordinate of the co-vertices. We have negative 2, 0, and 2, 0. Then locate the focus. The focus is 0, square root of 5, 0, square root of 0, negative square root of 5. And the endpoints of the latus rectum, so we have 4/3 square root of 5, 4/3 negative square root of 5, 4/3 negative square root of 5, and 4/3 negative square root of 5. Then after that, connect the endpoints of the latus rectum, the co-vertices, and the vertices to form an ellipse. So this is the graph of the given general form of an ellipse 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 36 equals 0. Let's proceed to example number 2. Suppose the given is 9x squared plus 16y squared minus 144 equals 0. What is the standard form? The vertices, the foci, the co-vertices, and the endpoints of the latus rectum, and the graph of the equation. First, change the equation to standard form. So, you need to divide all the terms by 144 and transpose negative 144 to the other side. So, we have x squared over 16. Paano nagawa? 9x squared divide 144 is x squared over 16. 16y squared divide 144 is y squared over 9. 144 divide 144 is 1. Why? You transpose it to the other side, so it became 1. This is the standard form of an ellipse. Pag naka-standard na siya, makukuha mo na ang vertex. The value of vertex, ang A po ay yung mataas na number, square root. So 16 yun malaki kaysa 9. Square root of 16 is 4. Therefore, A equals 4. Square root of 9 is 3. That's the value of B. And the vertex now, since ang nasa taas ng 16 ay x, therefore, the major axis is the x-axis, while the minor axis is the y-axis. For the vertices, so nasa x-coordinate po ilalagay ang A. We have positive, negative 4, 0. For the co-vertices, we have 0, positive, negative, B. Tandaan lang ninyo kung ano yung variable sa taas ng maliit na number, yun din ang co-vertices. Yung malaki ay vertices. Now, to get for the value of C, so we have the formula C equals the square root of A squared minus B squared. Ang gawin nyo lang ay yung denominator na ng standard form, ima-minus nyo lang at kukunin ng square root. So, square root of 16 minus 9 is square root of 7 or approximately equal 2.65. Therefore, our focus, we have positive, negative square root of 7, 0. Then, the endpoints of the latus rectum, importantihon po ini para ma-form na maayos ang ellipse. Dito po kasi nagde-determine yung curve ng ellipse. Okay, so we have square root of 7, positive, negative, 9 over 4. Paano nakuha? Ang 9 over 4 is b squared. Our b is 9. Our b squared is 9. Our a is 4. So, 9 over 4. At C, tandaan kung nasaan nakalagay yung sa focus, doon din kinokopya. Nasa x-coordinate yung square root of 7, x-coordinate din ang square root of 7. Now, to graph, make Cartesian coordinate plane. Plot the vertices, nasa x-axis. So, we have positive, negative 4. Then, the co-vertices, nasa y-axis, we have positive, negative 3. Or we call it the y-intercept. Yung vertices, the x-intercept. Then, the focus, we have square root of 7, negative square root of 7. And the endpoints of the latus rectum, we have this. Square root of 7, negative 9 over 4. Square root of 7, positive 9 over 4. Square root of negative square root of 7, negative 9 over 4. Negative square root of 7, positive 9 over 4. Then connect the co-vertices, the vertices, and the endpoints of the latus rectum to form an ellipse. Okay, that's an ellipse. So, hindi nyo i-connect yung focus kasi nasa loob yun. Okay, last example. Ang given na equation ay standard. Now, you will find the general form, the same, the vertices, the foci, the co-vertices, the endpoints of the latus rectum, and sketch the graph. This is the given equation in standard form. So how to change this into general form? Get the LCD of the denominator. The LCD of 20 and 36 is 180. So you will multiply all the terms by the LCD. So 180 times x squared over 20 is 9x squared. 180 times y squared over 36 is 5y squared. 180 times 1 is 180. When you transpose to the other side, it became negative 180 equals 0. So this is now in general form. Take note that the center is at the origin. How to get for the value of A, B, and C? A is the square root of the bigger number sa denominator ng standard form. 36. So therefore, A equals 6. B is the smaller, so 20. Square root of 20 is square root of 4 times 5. Square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 5 or 4.47. Now, our vertex, since 6 or 36, ang nasa taas na variable ay y. Therefore, our major axis is on the y-axis. So, ilalagay natin sa y coordinates or y value. We have the vertex, 0, positive, negative 6. The co-vertices, we have positive, negative 2, square root of 5, 0. To find C, we have the formula C equals the square root of A squared minus B squared. Just subtract 36 minus 20 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. That's the value of C. Ang C ay pattern sa vertex na sa Y ilalagay. So we have 0, positive, negative C equals 0, positive, negative 4. Endpoints of the latus rectum, we have this formula. And we have positive, negative 10 over 3. Bakit? Yung 10 ay B squared. Okay? Ang B squared natin ay 20. But then yung A natin ay 6. 20 over 6 in lowest term is 10 over 3. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, 10 over 3 dito. Always express your answer in lowest term. And this C is ito. 4, negative 4. Then sketch. Make first a Cartesian coordinate plane. Plot the vertex nasa y-axis. So we have 0, 6, negative 6, 0, 0, negative 6. Then the co-vertices, we have here, negative 2 square root of 5, positive 2 square root of 5. The focus, 0, positive 4, 0, negative 4. And we have these endpoints of the latus rectum endpoints of the latus rectum, then form the ellipse. So that's an ellipse. So malinaw po? Okay. So next is, I will discuss transforming ellipse to standard form or general form. Thank you.